Water.
I call this meeting back to order at 6:53 p.m.
Do we want to like sit on the other side of that?
We will now conduct roll call. Yes.
Julia, second.
Max Manning.
I guess Max will be present technically.
Yeah, he's president.
Yeah. We're back to order at 6:53 p.m. We are now in line for deliberations. What we are going to do, just to repeat again, we're going to debate for 3 minutes per seat in a block. So let me just write that on the minutes. Meaning for budget, there will be a 12-minute deliberation period, and then for judiciary, there will be a 6-minute deliberation period. So I will start the timer, and we will start with budget, since that's kind of those applications were heard first, and that will be 12 minutes whenever you'd like to begin. Just to make it easier, do you kind of just want to go down the line, or do you want to raise your hand, or how would you? You can just raise your hand.
Okay.
And then, just for the purpose of the minutes, while only the DMPL or the MPL can be present at a given time, Deputy Minority Party Leader Bannock, I had it right the first time. Deputy Minority Party Leader Bannock and Minority Party Leader Naidu will be kind of switching off which of the two is procedurally present, just to make deliberations simpler, since they weren't both here for every deliberation. All right, so we will start with budget, and that is 12 minutes, starting...
Really quick, I'm sorry, I know I'm a member of the public. I just want to say I will be recording this. I know it is like publicly recorded. I just want to, for the sake, like, I don't want anyone to feel like it's like done illegally. I have the right. I just want to make that clear.
Perfect. All right, 12 minutes whenever anyone would like to begin, starting now.
So one of the first interviews that I walked in on was that of Antonio Hendricks. I think that he applied for judiciary and budget, but looking at his ideas and knowledge of both, I think that he would be a better candidate for budget, and probably one of the best candidates who applied. I know he really some of his like previous experience talking about adhering to like the strict code of ethics, and but also at the same time wanting to make budget like more accessible with like the certain kinds of documents. He really knows his stuff. He was literally like, it literally takes this many clicks to find information when in regards to the budget. So I wanted to consolidate that and make that easier. I think that I didn't really see any other candidates who, well, not like just to compare, but he set a very high standard of really being thorough and having a lot of knowledge of the budget. So I look favorably upon this candidate.
I'm going to pause the time for a second. Just a reminder to everyone to try to avoid, or you did it perfectly fine, to use names when referring to candidates, but try not to say this candidate was better than this candidate. Just try to say, I liked this candidate because of this reason. I thought this candidate could be improved for this reason, just so it's not a direct comparison, just to keep it a little bit more lighthearted. So I'll resume the time starting now. Anyone else like to speak?
I think I really appreciated Senator Hewitt's idea about investing. I'm not sure if it was the intake each year or the reserves, but I think this is untapped potential that we have as SG. And I know as someone who's invested, Senator Hewitt is in the investment club. He has firsthand experience in actually being able to make this happen. And honestly, I think this is the biggest room for improvement for us, because the reserves is millions and millions, and it keeps getting added year on year, and then that's just sitting there, and it's worth less and less each year because of inflation. So I think Watson.
So I really like, at least when I like the idea that Colt Bennett brought up of the funding Fiesta Week. I thought that was something that had a lot of implications that could help students on campus, specifically because he talked about, just looking at my notes, sorry, more transparency for funding request forms and partnering with like cabinet, for example, the internal communications cabinet. I like that. I think we as a Senate chamber also can rely on the other student government capacities to kind of help students just kind of figure out more about funding. That's a big problem that a lot of students face. And also when he mentioned the learning having office hours, I think that's something that was cool. So I really did appreciate his interview, and that's something that I just wanted.
I can to talk about some of the other stuff that was said. I actually love Senator Hewitt. The investing reserve funds idea, I do see a little bit of potential for an issue there, just because investments can be risky, as we know. Even the less risky ones are still risky. So saved, I'm of the opinion that we should let saved money be saved money. But I did want to talk about Matolo's interview. I really liked and appreciated that she invested in a startup industry managing funds and set up an NGO. I think she has great experience in the past, and as a new student to the University of Florida, I see that maybe she doesn't have a ton of budget experience within the University of Florida, but I don't think that should entirely prevent her from being on this committee, because I did genuinely really like her ideas, and there's a lot of room for growth there. And I also do really like the service aspect of her application.
I wanted to support Matola's candidacy. Honestly, looking at her resume more in depth, you can see that they were the direct point of contact for thousands in cash flow, and they were responsible for making sure these were allocated appropriately. And while it's not directly in UF, I feel like this is most directly translatable when it comes to non-UF previous experience.
So I want to follow up about the candidate Cole Bennett. One of his ideas for budget, I think the other committee that he applied for, maybe I look at him a little more favorably, but for this one, he talked about splitting up the forms into, by the type of organization. And I know that previously in this committee we've talked about how that could potentially be harmful with maybe STEM organizations, that a lot of times the school tends to, just by being a STEM school, and we don't want them to get more representation or funding than an arts organization or anything like that. So that I do think is a concern with budget. I think this candidate had a lot of other good things to say about other positions, though, rather just not budget. I do also with the with Hewitt Watson's application. I also do really like what was said about his idea to invest, but I do agree that I don't really know the legal implications of that, or whether or not we're even allowed to do that. I don't really know, but it is untapped potential for sure, as previously stated. And then again, I also do want to support Senator Matola Foyet's application. Yeah, just basically ditto what Majority Party Leader said.
Two quick things. First, to address the concerns with Senator Bennett, definitely thanks for bringing that up. That's definitely something that could cause, a little bit of discrepancy, but I also do think that a lot of this is because when you don't have experience, at least dealing specifically with it, it's you learn it as time goes. So obviously a very valid concern, but I do think that with experience, anyone given the opportunity, kind of learn that and you kind of grow with that. And I also want to kind of be the fourth person to support Senator Foyet's nomination. I specifically want to talk about service. I think philanthropy is a really big thing that we want to encourage within the Senate chamber. And so when she mentioned having a global impact of students, but more importantly, with the NGO, not only mobilizing resources, but helping to manage resources, I think that was something that was really nice. And specifically for budget, that is something that, you have to learn. We have a lot of resources, but how to allocate it properly, that's something that only comes with experience, like I mentioned. And so having that prior experience, and Majority Party Leader Cypher said, even if it wasn't within the UF campus, I think could transition over as well. So that's something that was cool. And the same thing goes, like I mentioned with Senator Bennett, that experience can also transition over as well. So just kind of those guys.
I wanted to talk about Angelina Fentress's application specifically. Let me go to it. Hold on. Okay, I loved that she suggested hosting town hall meetings, and she did suggest office hours, but I want to talk about her specific unique idea for town halls. I think the concept of town halls sets up a really good and interesting dynamic where it's us coming out as government officials and the public being invited to come and join us. This differs from office hours in that office hours, when I think of it, it's more one-on-one and could be potentially more intimidating. For organizations that really just want to put a face to how we do our budget system at the University of Florida Senate, I think that this is a really interesting idea. I think that it was good that she proposed this because it shows that she can really put herself in the shoes of the other side of the organizations who may be requesting stuff from budget and have questions and would not necessarily want to come to office hours because it's intimidating. So town hall is great. Then she also had her INC idea that I believe other people did suggest, but I think that was a great addition. And then on the same idea of putting herself in other people's shoes, I wanted to talk about Senator Maya Dickula's budget application. I liked that she specifically wanted to reach out to other organizations on campus. I think that sending out like an individualized mass email might be a lot of work, but I think it's a really good and engaging idea. Email invitations are always a great way to personalize something. And if you personalize it for every single org, it's not discriminatory. And I think that her description of what exactly she wanted to do was ultra specific, which I appreciated.
So on the topics of town halls and that kind of thing, I do want to bring up how this was mentioned by Ronan Hart. I thought it was, he talked about like Mocha Monday and how that is something that Treasurer DeMera is trying to do, to help organizations know like how to apply. But he talked about how he wants to include the Budget Committee and then also SG Finance. And I thought it was cool that he knew like about Senator or to be Budget Chairman Rodriguez and how he's intertwined with SG Finance. I think that was like something interesting, and I think it kind of when he was talking about how like now is a good time to do it because of that overlap. I thought that was a really interesting thing, and I thought that also spoke to his knowledge of the current committee. And it kind of does tie into this concept of transparency and open communication that we've been hearing today.
Working off Julia's previous statement, I think Senator Fentress really went beyond by citing that rec sports is allocated the most money out of the Big Five, and I think that shows of all the applicants, not to compare, that they went beyond what is just encapsulated in the questions, but actually did extensive research, and that's someone you would want on the Budget Committee and willing to put in the work, not just in their research, but actually making the change that they're calling for.
I'll kind of just echo those sentiments. I was just looking at my notes for Senator Fentress. She mentioned how her kind of work with student finance group allowed her to explain terminology. That was a very big thing to me. I think a lot of times in budget itself, even myself included, like sometimes a lot of terminologies I'm not familiar with, and having someone that's affluent with those terminologies and able to explain, she specifically said being able to explain critical thinking, that's a big thing. I think that in the Senate we have a lot of intellectual individuals that can express themselves well, but if you don't know what you're talking about in terms of terminology, it can sometimes become a little bit subdued. And to kind of relate that also, bouncing off majority party leader Cypher's kind of thing, Senator Dicula also mentioned how she wanted to talk about the implications. I kind of like that idea. I was looking at both of those things, but having that treasurer's toast idea, that's something that I think can have a lot of benefits, and similar to how Senator Hart mentioned as well. Like, we have a lot of these events on campus, but a lot of people just don't know or are rather intimidated. So having those kind of more open forums where you can explain those terminologies, explain those things, I think all those ideas for all these senators were doing well.
And then working off that, I know it's a big point of pride, at least within the engineering orgs, for the presidents to attend the president's toast. So as opposed to events being open but no one attending a town hall, I think a treasurer's toast would actually convey better impetus for these treasurers to actually attend.
For sure.
I think that I'm going to address Ronan Hart's application. Loved his interview and his ideas. I think like the Town Hall Mocha Monday idea was great. I'm going to talk about his last new ideas, implement action just for his budget. It looked like he would work closely with other student senators to help them craft the best version of their bills to give it a better chance of passing, and also to use social media. I'm not sure if he had like more if he wanted to put more specific ideas in his written application.
1 minute left.
For the Budget Committee, I really did like him. Would love to see more specific ideas there. So for this candidate, come back.
Anyone else wishing to speak? About 45 seconds. Yes.
I think kind of as like a recap, I know it was like a lot.
Yeah.
I think Matola Foya had a wonderful interview by Antonio Hendricks. Watson Hewitt, if that's legal, I don't really know about some of the logistics of that. I think I looked upon Matola Foya super favorably, fatty all around.
Okay, and then to recap on our end, we were fans of Matola, loved Bennett, Ventress, Adicula.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak? 10 seconds.
I do feel that Bennett, especially from the notes that my deputy has left me, would be better for judiciary. But that's just kind of what we had on our end. And that is something that we're favorable to.
And that is time.
We're done.
So we are now in line to deliberate on the open Judiciary Committee seat. Just a reminder that it'll be about 6 minutes. And that 6 minutes will begin whenever the first person begins speaking, I guess. Would anyone like to
I think there's no question that one of the candidates is the most qualified and brings the best ideas, or not even the best ideas, but the most well thought out ideas, and that's the one that we have this paper application for, which is Senator Pelton. They've authored, I believe, in the entire chamber the most bills of any active senator. They defended the most, and they most likely understand the inner workings of Judish to the point where they're able to pinpoint in their interview the biggest issues that judiciary has. We've seen them this past week, why there's a couple places where we can improve, and I think they've identified solutions for those. So, thank you.
Yeah, I want to speak favorably upon the candidate Marianne Enriquez. Loved her interview. Obviously, clerking isn't indicative of how much knowledge or experience someone has, but I think that this was her clerking for judiciary for so long makes her a really good candidate for Judish. I think that I like that her focus was on transparency and collaboration with academic departments to integrate student perspectives. I like that she specifically noted that while we don't have the obligation to collaborate with other student organizations, she shouted out one, Florida Undergraduate Law Review, met those people, they're really awesome. And I think that as a lot of us are, future lawyers, I just think that it's really a really interesting idea to help us with close reading and understanding. And I liked her email blast idea as well to encourage senators to engage in the Judiciary Committee when they have actual bills submitted. So I speak favorably upon this candidate.
Kind of want to just echo those sentiments of Senator Enriquez. When I was looking at my notes for when she came in for an interview, I like the idea. She talked about if you're not happy, and this is specifically judiciary, but if you're not happy, then what you do. She says she has extensive experience working in 2 different law offices. I think that specifically for fine print reading. And I also like the idea of collaborating with organizations like the Florida Undergraduate Law Review. We as senators have the ability to reach out to students if we want to, and I think that's a great idea, specifically for authors of bills and resolutions that affect organizations on campus. So I think having that ability to kind of reach out and say, hey, look, we're having this meeting, you should be there, you've authored this bill, you have the right to come and present. That's something that I think would be beneficial for all students on campus, not just senators as well.
So I also want to put my chips behind Senator Nathaniel Pelton. I think we can all be in agreement of that. If not, though, I would maybe just if someone could present a con that we could address, just because I really do think that this is the most qualified candidate. But I also wanted to talk about Noor Golorski. Is that her name? Okay, sorry, Golorski. I'm sorry for mispronouncing that, but I know that especially for the freshman candidate, I know that obviously you might not always have the most people come in with not as many credits, and we often think not as much experience or understanding, but I just think I was very impressed with her interview, and I also think that her sentiments kind of followed that of the current judiciary chair, where he's especially I can say from my end, I felt very much he's very bipartisan, and I did kind of like how she took that approach. Yeah, that's all for now. I forgot what I was gonna say.
To kind of bounce off that, for another candidate, I really enjoyed Senator Sabadash's interview, specifically only because he talked about philanthropy as well. I know as a freshman, he specifically probably has not the most tangible experience working with finance or budget at the college level, but he talked about being sophomore class, junior class, and board president, more importantly philanthropy. And I just went over his application because I wanted to see if he mentioned philanthropy. He talked about being Miami's Silver Knight, the Miami Herald Silver Knight. And I know from my friends from South Florida, they've talked to me before about it. And I think that's just that's attested to kind of his ability for service. Why I bring that up in specific in relation to judiciary is because I think that when we have people that are in those positions to advocate for philanthropy and service, sorry, I'm going to speed run it. You can have people that also advocating for bills. In judiciary, you have the ability to also talk to the chair and talk about what's legal, the implications of it, and having people who are able to advocate for bills that help students that actually have tangible actions through service, philanthropy. That's someone I think that would be a great addition to the committee. That was just kind of how I was hearing it when I was listening to this application.
That's a really good point. I also want to talk about the Silver Knight thing. As a fellow nominee, I really like the aspect of community engagement that's required in order to get this very, very prestigious award. That honestly really impresses me. But the fact that he has so much community engagement and then coming in as a freshman makes me really hopeful that he's going to bring that here to the University of Florida when he has to engage with the community and other senators in order to ensure that he's understanding a piece of legislation in the exact way that it's intended by the author.
Yeah, I also, real quick, I don't know. Okay, I want to also extend my agreement of the candidate Marian Enriquez. You know, after like going back over her application, I think she was a really good option. Yeah.
And then one point, looking at what Judish does, it's reading over things really in depth, and I think the candidate that really testified to that was Ella Furman the most. You'd have to delve into their supplemental, but they're one of only a few Judish apps that actually gave a supplement with continued ideas. But their experience in speech and debate and continuing that role in college, so we don't have to say like, oh, just in high school. Continuing in college in a coaching capacity, I myself can speak to how higher of a role it is to actually have to read through the people you're working with and what they're writing, and I think that directly translates to what they do in Judish.
15 seconds.
Sorry.
Any takers? Any takers?
Let me see.
Yes.
I think to recap, I'm really looking forward to hopefully approving Nathaniel Pelton and Marian Enriquez. This is really option.
4 seconds.
To recap, Sabadash and
And
Enriquez.
that's time. Unfortunately, only members on the committee can speak during deliberations.
Not a deliberation, a question for my notes.
I will grant you that question, yes.
You two mentioned a name. Was it Andrew Sabadash?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
I wasn't sure if it was Kumar. Oh, yeah.
Seeing that deliberations have concluded, do I hear any motions at this time?
I have motions.
Yes.
Okay. I move to approve Matola Foyer for the Open Budget and Appropriations Committee seat by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to approve Senator Foyer for the open. Is that Foyer? Is that correct? Foyer? Foyer? Okay, Foyer.
The T is so pronounced because it's a French name.
Thank you. Senator Foyer for the Open Budget and Appropriations Committee seat by unanimous consent. Are there any objections?
A follow-up?
Hearing none, that motion passes.
Sorry.
Do you have a follow-up?
Yes, I do. I move to approve Angelina Fentress for the Open Budget and Appropriations Committee seat by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to approve Angelina Fentress for the Open Budget and Appropriation Committee seat by unanimous consent.
Yes.
By unanimous consent, are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes. Anyone else? Any other motion?
Yes, I have a follow-up.
What's your follow-up?
I move to approve Maya Adicula for the Open Budget and Appropriations Committee by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to approve Maya Adicula for the Open Budget and Appropriations Committee seat by unanimous consent. Are there any objections?
I object.
There's been an
I should put
objection,
thinking.
so that motion has failed.
Okay. I would like to remake that motion not by unanimous consent.
Same thing.
Think about it. Okay, wait. I rescind that motion. I move to approve Cole Bennett for the Open Budget and Appropriations Committee by unanimous
I
consent.
object.
Okay.
There was a motion to approve Cole Bennett for the Open Budget and Appropriations Committee seat by unanimous consent. That motion was objected to, so that motion fails.
Okay. I move to approve Marian Enriquez for the Open Judiciary Committee seat by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to approve Marianne Enriquez for the Open Judiciary Committee seat by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Okay. I move to approve Andrew Sabadash for the Open Judiciary Committee seat by unanimous consent.
I object.
Okay. I'm gonna remake all those.
Give me 1 second just for the minutes. Thank you. Sorry.
Take your time. We'll get a clerk. Yeah.
Yeah, I should work that. I'll add that to the to-do list. It's only this time, right? Okay. Yes.
Okay. I move to approve Maya Adicula for the Open Budget and Appropriations Committee seat by vote.
By roll call vote.
Yes.
Alrighty. For which one of the two of you will be like making motions and
Yeah, I
casting
can do
votes?
it.
Okay, perfect. There's been a motion to approve Adicula for the Open Budget and Appropriations Committee seat. I will call roll.
Yes.
Vijay Raghavan.
Yes.
Naidu.
Yes.
In a vote of 3-1 with my abstention, and a vote of 3-0 to 1, that motion passes.
Okay. I have a follow-up.
Yes, you have a follow-up?
Yes. I move to approve Cole Bennett for the Open Budget and Appropriations Committee seat by roll call vote.
There's been a motion to approve Bennett for the Open Budget and Appropriations Committee seat in a roll call vote.
Yes.
Cipher,
Yes.
BJ Raghavan,
Yes.
Naidu.
No.
I will abstain in a vote of 2 to 1 to 1. That motion will pass.
And I have a follow-up.
Okay. You have a follow-up?
Yes. I move to approve Andrew Sabadash for the Open Judiciary Committee seat by roll call vote. That's it.
There's been a motion to approve Sabadosh for the Open Judiciary Committee seat by a roll call vote. I will now call the roll. Cipher,
Yes.
BJ Raghavan,
Yes.
Naidu,
No.
and I will abstain in a vote of 2 to 1 to 1. That motion passes.
Okay. Follow-up?
Sorry. Yes, what's your follow-up?
Okay. We can still debate on the blocks, but I'm going to do it for the committee seats for the sake of time. So
Is this onto agenda?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yes, perfect.
there's no... Wait, did I miss seats?
No, those...
Yeah, that's all.
No, that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. I move to make a block of all of the Budget and Appropriations Committee seats by unanimous consent.
I've done.
There's been... Okay. Give me here, I'll add it to the agenda. Or I'll add it... I have, like, different sections, sorry. Move to make all budget seats a block by unanimous consent. Motion was objected to. Motion carries.
Okay. I would like to do that by roll call vote.
All right. There's been a motion to make all budget seats a block by a roll call vote. Cipher,
Yes.
VJ Raghavan,
Yes.
Naidu.
No.
I will abstain in a vote of 2 to 1 to 1. That motion passes.
Okay. Follow-up.
There's been a follow-up.
I move to make a block of all of the Judiciary Committee seats by unanimous consent.
There's
Object.
Okay.
My personal privilege.
yes.
May I address the committee for 10 seconds?
You may address the committee for 10 seconds.
There's only 2 candidates. Let's just debate them on the floor. There's literally only 2 of them.
I'm super open to debating them within the block. We could use the block time to debate on both of them.
Okay. I think Marion's
Isn't 2 out of
qualified.
4 not 2/3 and it's supposed to be 2/3
I believe an abstention isn't counted towards the vote count.
towards the vote count for any of the things that are made? I don't know. That's
I
according
to the
Constitution.
According to the Constitution.
An abstention counts as a vote,
That's true.
Okay. Well, in that case,
which I'd like to change.
in that case, allow me
Sorry.
my apologies and my misunderstanding of the codes and the Constitution. So the motion to make budget seats a block in the vote of 1 to 1 does not pass.
Point of order. If that's the case, wouldn't that apply to our previous nominations that were 2-1?
The previous nominations, the nominations is a majority.
It's just a special one.
Special rules.
I understand.
Okay.
I understand. Thank you.
I believe it's ours.
I have a point. A majority is half plus a feather, so you would need 3 votes out of 4 in this case.
Let me pull up the SG Constitution. Sorry.
That's established precedence.
Yes.
Yeah, it's majority plus 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, my point of order stands
It's
assassin.
Yes,
half
yes,
plus one is
yes,
majority.
No,
yes.
definitely not. Okay.
All right. My apologies.
If that's
No
correct, I'm open to rescinding everything and remaking them really quickly, so we can do it legally.
Okay. Yes, I will just reconduct the votes that were done by roll call.
Okay.
So I will reconduct every vote that resulted in 2 to 1 to 1, just for the sake of doing it. There was a motion to approve Bennett for an open Budget and Appropriations Committee seat.
Yes.
We will recall Cipher.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
I will vote yes, and a vote of 3 to 1, that motion passes. And then the motion to approve Sabadosh for the Open Judiciary Committee seat, roll call vote.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
I will vote yes, and a vote of 3 to 1, that motion passes. Okay, I believe. And then to make all budget seats a block, we will recast that vote.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
I will vote yes, and a vote of 3 to 1, that motion passes. And then the motion to make all judiciary seats as a block was made by unanimous consent, which was objected to,
Okay. So.
and that is where we are at now. My apologies for the misunderstanding. We're still learning.
Don't worry.
Doing great.
So
Okay.
do you have a follow-up?
Yes, I would like to remake that motion, not by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to make the judiciary seats a block. We'll do a roll call vote. Sorry, let me change the minutes. Cipher,
Yes.
BJ Raghavan,
Yes.
Naidu.
No.
I will vote no in a vote of 2-2. That motion fails. 2-2 motion fails. Okay. Are there any other motions at this
I have a
time?
follow-up.
Yes.
Okay, I move to add member at large 1 and member at large 2 elections to the agenda, following amendments to the agenda by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to add member at large 1 and member at large 2 under amendments to the agenda by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Okay, follow-up.
Follow-up.
I move to add the 1 veto SSB 2024-1025 to bills under second reading by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to move the vetoed and then amended in Judiciary Bill, Student Senate Bill 2024-1025 onto second readings by unanimous consent. Are there any objections?
Point of information.
Yes.
Could someone read the title of the bill? Just for context.
Yes. I will look at it.
What's the Sinclair Act? I was there.
The Sinclair Act.
Sinclair
Alright.
Act.
The Sinclair.
Okay.
And it was amended, so it's going under second.
Gotcha.
I will, yes. I will once again ask, are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Okay, follow-up.
Follow-up.
I move to add all other legislation approved by the Judiciary Committee this week under first reading by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to approve all other added legislation by the Judiciary Committee this week into first reading by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes.
Okay, I have a follow-up.
Follow-up.
I'll be back.
I move to... I move to add all of the bills under first reading to be directly under the public comment section by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion. Let me type that.
I'll just object.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't worry,
Well,
you can cut me off.
I
it's
still
all
have to
good.
write it for the minutes. Sorry. Move to add first reading under public comment by unanimous consent, and that motion fails because there was an objection.
Okay, so I would like to remake that motion not by unanimous consent.
Party out there. There's been a motion to add bills under first reading under public comment. This will be a roll call vote. Cipher.
Yes.
BJ Raghavan.
Yes.
Naidu.
No.
I will vote yes, and a vote of 3-1. That motion passes. Are there any other motions at this time? Do I hear a motion to set the time and date of Senate?
I can do it. I move to set the time and date of the next Senate meeting to 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday, March 26th in the Rights Union Senate Chamber by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to set the time and date of Senate to Tuesday, March 26th at 7:30 p.m. in the Senate chambers by unanimous consent. Are there any objections?
I object. Would anyone be open to putting it a date? I know it's up to you all.
To do
Do
what?
you have?
What'd you say?
Would anyone be open to setting it at 8?
Do you have like?
Isn't
Oh, for Ramadan still?
Ramadan
Yeah.
will still continue.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
I rescind.
I have a proposal. Could we do 7:45, or would that be too close?
I think that is better.
7:45.
Starting.
Would it be
basically.
okay? Is that really close? All right, we'll just start like right at 8. Right
Okay.
at
Right at 8.
That
Okay.
works. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
I would make the motion, and I move to set the time and date for the next Senate meeting to be 8 p.m. on Tuesday, March 26th, in the Rights Senate Chamber.
All right. There's been a motion to set the time and date of Senate to Tuesday, March 26th, 2024 at 8 p.m. in the Senate chambers by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Before I adopt the agenda, which one?
Yeah.
Oh wait, is it on the
Oh wait,
agenda?
yeah, no, it's okay. It's not there.
Okay.
Currently, the agenda. Are you asking like what's on the agenda? Or
Like,
I don't
just
know
like
what
go,
that
like
was.
to look at it real quick.
Do you want me to, I just have a bunch of motions. Do you want me to kind of
Yeah,
read
can
off
you
what's on
summarize
there?
what's on there? See if we missed anything.
So, in addition to all of the seats that we just approved and all of the seats from last week and all of the legislation that's still on there from last week, we added, just to re-add it, I guess, Member at Large 1, Member at Large 2 under amendments to the agenda, added Student Senate Bill 2024-1025 under second readings, add all approved legislation by the Judiciary Committee this week into first readings, add first reading under public comment, and then time and date of Senate of Tuesday, March 26th at 8 p.m. That is everything I have.
And then the 2 judiciary seats are not a block, and then the 4
Yes.
budget seats are a block.
Okay.
The budget seats are blocked, the judiciary seats are not.
Okay.
And then chairs are on the agenda.
Yes, they're still on the agenda because the previous RNA recommendations carry over. Yes, Senator, would you like to address the committee?
Yes, regarding the Senate meeting on Tuesday, please what's the deadline for submission of the presentation for public comments? Because I would like to do one.
The public comment, you can address that
so
since
sorry.
it's to you.
Oh, okay, thank you. It will be Tuesday at 5 p.m. So, yeah, and then when you send it over, make sure to send it to both myself, or the Senate President email, and the Senate Secretary's email, just so that we both, in case I don't see it, they see it, just part of the codes.
Okay.
Yes.
When-
If you have any questions, you can also look on the Instagram. They put up a cool post. INT committee put up public comment. So the yep, just plugging it right there. Sorry, you have Senate post. You can check that as well. Yes.
Thank you.
Do I hear a motion to adopt the agenda by unanimous consent?
I move to adopt the agenda by unanimous.
All right. Are there any objections? Seeing none, that motion passes. I adjourn this meeting at 7:29 p.m. Thank you all for bearing with me.